Hello, this is the first video on the financial statement project. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the project, the files you'll need, the formulas, and how we can get started on it. So the first thing you need to locate is this financial statement project template, as well as your individual project. You will only be working in a specific Excel file. So we want to first create that Excel file that you're going to be working in, and then we can start the project. So here in the assignment sheet, you're going to open the financial statement project template file, and I want you to very first rename this file to your last name followed by a 1, and that's going to tell me that this is the first year of your company and who you are. So go ahead and do that first. You're going to hit File, Save As, wherever you want to put it on your computer, and make sure it says, so I would say Klein 1. And I already have one saved for us, so but make sure you do that and you have your Excel file saved. Now, the other thing, after you do that, you're going to be working in your file. You're going to right click, and we need to insert some tabs. And so you can hit Insert, and you're going to insert a worksheet within this file. Now, actually, you can see on your assignment schedule, there are 7 new tabs that I'm going to have you create. So we're going to add the following new tabs at the beginning of the file. And this order is actually really important. So once I hit Insert a worksheet, if you use your keyboard, if you hit Control Y, so the CTRL, this is a Windows computer, Control Y, it'll repeat the last step you did. And so I'm just hitting Control Y to get my 7 new sheets or new tabs here in my workbook. Then what you're going to do is, per these instructions here, you are going to create new tabs with these names on them. So you're going to create an adjustments worksheet, and then you're going to create a tab where you're going to house your income statement and statement of owner's equity. That whole thing won't fit, so this is an abbreviation you can put there. So this would be adjustments worksheet, and then you can do income statement and statement of owner's equity. Not too picky on these tab names as long as they are clear on what they are. So I went ahead and did that, and so when you're done with this, you will see these tabs here for you. And then the final one is scratch paper, and this is where we're going to be working on some of the different entries that we need to do. So getting set up is important. We want to make sure we have all these tabs here, and then we can get started. So the next thing that we need to do is to complete the accounting cycle. And we're going to use the journals that I give you below. These are our 4 original journals of entry where we have our data. So we have a purchases journal, we have a sales journal given, we have a, if you keep scrolling down, cash receipts journal, and we have a cash disbursements journal as well. So these are the 4 journals where your data is going to be coming from. And the 5th journal that you have is called the general journal. So those are your 5 journals that we need to be working with. Your general journal is in your workbook here. I've created some templates, if you will, some places to start here. So this general journal, page 1, is your general journal where you will be recording any general journal entries. Your other journals are given in your assignment page. We also need to remember that with journals in accounting come ledgers. Now, a ledger is a lot like a checkbook ledger that keeps track of all of the information in a specific account. So the accounts that we have in our project are given on the chart of accounts. You always have a chart of accounts that tell you as a company what accounts you have. So this gives you the different types of accounts. Now we're not going to be using all of these in 2001, but we will be using all of them as we go forward and complete the entire project. So these are the accounts you're using to record your information, and you're going to record it either in the general journal and post it to your general ledger, which if you scroll over here, this needs to go. Your general ledger is here. So starting on page 1, these pages are your ledgers. All right, so this cash ledger is going to be where if you have an entry in cash, you're going to post it to the ledger. Now your entries will either come from your general journal or it could come from any of the other 4 journals. So let's look at our problem and start knocking this thing out. So journal entry. This means in your general journal you need to record a dividend declared. So a dividend declared means that we are going to be paying our shareholders, and that dividend declared entry gets recorded in the general journal. So what is that entry? Well, we're going to debit dividends declared. It's an account that is a reduction of equity. So my project says that my dividends declared is 2,300. Your number is going to be different. Your friend's number is going to be different. Everyone has different numbers. So you need to find your number here on your general journal entry for the dividend declared. 2,300. So I come here and I say 2,300. And then I have a dividends payable. That means I haven't paid it yet, but I intend to pay it in the short term of 2,300. So that's my first entry that gets recorded. Now, whenever you record an entry in the general journal, you also post it to your ledgers. And so I'm going to do something here. Up here in this View tab in Excel, there's a couple of icons here that say New Window, Arrange All. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new window. And what that's going to do is it's going to duplicate my workbook to where I'm having the same workbook, but it's open twice. So here's, you can see this says Klein 1 and then 1 at the very end. And then there should be a Klein 1 with a 2. That means I can use either of these workbooks and record it in the same place. But what this is used for is I want to arrange my workbooks. Now, in order to do this, I need to close out any of my other things that I have open here. So here's my 1 and my 2. Now I'm going to do View, Arrange, and when I hit Arrange, I want to do actually a vertical arrangement, which just means it's going to show me my workbook side by side. And I'm doing this because I'm going to have my general journal open over here. And then on this side, I'm going to have my general ledger open. So I hit dividends declared and dividends payable. And as I look through my ledger, if I can't find an account, like this account's long-term investments, and then I'm getting into liability, I know dividends declared is a part of equity, which is going to go later, and dividends payable is a part of a liability, so I know I'll find it within this liability section. You could also look at the account number, so I found my dividends payable, which is this entry here. You could also look this over on your chart of accounts, and it'll tell you what page your account's on. So cash is on page 1, so forth. So dividends payable is on page 8, and my dividends declared, well, I didn't even tell you, it should be on page 11. Let me go check. Declared. I'm in 2001, so that's the year. When I post this, so I recorded an entry, I need to post it to my ledger to keep track of this account, and then we'll accumulate all the accounts on the worksheet. But this is my dividends declared. My reference is going to be General Journal, page 1. and it is a debit to this account. Now, one thing we can do to really help us out is to cell reference. So I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to say this is my number, because what is easy to do is a typo, and that's where you're going to get frustrated and things aren't going to balance. So here's our dividends declared. I'm posting it to the ledger, and I'm carrying my total over as a debit to the account. If it was a credit, let's show us the credit here on page 8. So here's my dividends payable, 2001. It's my dividends declared entry, and it comes from the general journal, page 1. This is going to be a credit to the dividends payable account. Now, if it's a credit, in the total column, I want us to show it negative. And that isn't negative, it's just going to tell me that the brackets mean a credit balance. Debits are going to be positive, credits are going to have brackets, and it's just a way to visually say this balance is running at a credit. Okay, so that's our first entry. We recorded it in the general journal, page 1, and we posted it to the general ledger. The second part, I'm going to be following the steps here on this financial statement project. So we've completed the first one. The second thing is we need to post the information from the 4 other books of original entry directly to the general ledger. So that means we don't need to re-journalize it because they're already journalized. And so this gives us more information on what we need to do. So if we come back to our project page, you have a purchases journal. So let's do the purchases. Again, it says you don't need to do the individuals. We just need to look at these totals for the purposes of the general ledger. All right, so lumber inventory. When we're at a purchases journal, what this is saying is the other side of this entry is we're making a purchase. And we owe Scott and Massive Building Supply. And that's important because they're going to want to get paid their amount. So we have to track all this in our accounts payable subsidiary ledger. So let's walk through this purchases journal. Again, the credits to AP. Purchases journal says a debit to inventory or some other purchase like supplies. So my debit is I'm buying something. I'm buying inventory, and I'm buying shop supplies, and my account is shop supplies on hand. My credit is always going to be in the purchases journal to AP, conversed with the cash disbursements journal where we actually pay cash for something. All right. So inventory, I'm going to go back. Inventory in my project says 56,100 and shop supplies 22,200. So if I come to my, this is going to be 56,100 and 22,200 and accounts payable. This is some of these. Now you don't need to write these out. This is just, I'm just trying to show you what this purchases journal is saying. Okay, so this is the entry. Now what we need to do is we need to post it. So when you see your purchases journal, we got to post this. It's already journalized. We don't need to rewrite the entry. We just need to post it. So we are going to go to inventory, 56. Yeah, I lost my arrange, and I'm gonna, looks like I accidentally opened another one. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm gonna arrange these. You can also, in this view function, you can right click on the picture here, and you can show quick access toolbar. So you can actually show this up here. And so I like to use these shortcuts where I'm saying, okay, here's my new window. I already have a new window. I need to arrange. And I want a vertical arrangement, so it shows me these side by side. Okay, here's my scratch paper. This is my purchases journal that I need to post, but it's really coming from my project here. All right, so as I come to my ledger, I need to find inventory and accounts payable. So let's go find the inventory account. Lumber inventory. So again, 2001, this is purchase inventory or whatever description you want to put. Reference, this is important. Purchases journal year 1, page 1. And you can denote however you reference it is fine. You just need to be consistent. So I'm using purchases journal 1 to say this is my first year. Maybe next year I'll do purchases journal 2 to show that's year 2. All right, so I purchase inventory, debit inventory increases the account, and my total is there. The next thing I purchased was shop supplies. Again, 2001, purchase shop supplies. And purchase journal 1, and it's a debit to the account of $22,200, and there's my total. All right, the credit then is going to go to accounts payable. So if I come over to my accounts payable, 2001, purchases journal, it'll be a credit of the total, $78,300, and that is needing to be shown as a credit of $78,300. Now that you've done that, that's the purchases journal. The best thing to do is to clean up your AP subledger. So that is going to show by individual vendor what you owed them. So here's your subledger for Scott, and here's January 1st. You can put year 2001, and the description can just be lumber for all of this. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different entries for Scott. So here you have 2001. Every time you would make a purchase with him, it would get posted to this vendor. It comes from purchases journal 1. And this is your AP ledger. So that means you're going to be running a balance. So you have 11,220. You have 16,830, 22,440, 5610. So your numbers are going to be different. In total, I'm going to grow this account. I'm going to add a negative here such that my balance to Scott should grow subledger and see how much I owe you. You can pull the balance that you owe him there. You need to do the same thing with massive. So you'll have year 2001, and you'll have a description, maybe supplies, and purchases journal 1, and you'll have your credit balance of 8,800, and so forth. So make sure you fill all this in, and then have your total over here will be a negative . And the total or we do a double check that these numbers are adding up appropriately. All right, so that is the first journal that you need to post. I'll go ahead and stop here, and I'll pick back up in the next lecture with the sales journal, and then we'll move forward with the rest of them. Okay, so we just finished looking at the purchases journal. This is going to start looking at the sales journal. So similar to a purchases journal, a sales journal is a sale on an account. So that means you are making a sale and people are going to pay you later. So coming back to our scratch paper, over here in our work file, I'm going to show you this entry. So in the sales entry, that's your purchases journal. Your sales journal is going to look like this. It's going to look like a debit to AR, they're going to pay you later, and a credit to sales. Now, we're going to be doing the totals into the general ledger, and we'll do the individual customers in the AR subledger. So in total, if you come to your project, you made sales on account of $353,700, and those two amounts get recorded in their main account. So you go and you post these accounts. So you come back to your ledger, find AR, AR, year 2001, your description is sales, your reference is SJ, sales journal, year 1, and you have a debit of $353,700. And always don't forget to bring over your total, it's a debit account. 2001, sales, sales journal 1, and it has a credit of $353,700, and that balance runs negative because it's a credit, bracketed. All right, now in the sales journal, again, we have a subsidiary ledger accounts. These are all of your customers. So one of the things, other information you have is the customers that buy from you and where they are in the subledgers. So we bought on our project, or who bought from us, we have Joe, Frank, Betty, Joanne, Steve, Bob, Sue, and so those are all here on pages 1 and 2 of the subledger. So you need to individually post to the subledger, which is after your general ledger, AR subledger, page 1. This is Joe's account. So one of the things we have is on February 1st, Joe bought, we made a sale to Joe, and it is sales journal, page 1 is where it came from, and he bought, this is the AR, so I always want to make sure we understand this is the AR subledger, so all of the running balances are going to be debit here. So $55,900 and then a total of $55,900. Okay, and that's him. That's what he owes you as of this point. Then you have Frank, same thing. He owes you $53,300. Betty, she owes you $47,900. So you got to do these for all of your customers. Joanne, I'm going to come over here to page 2 and copy and paste Steve and earn it. Steve, what amounts? Joanne, $46,500, $51,800, Bob, $5,600, and Sue. Totals, so that we have a running total going for each of these accounts. All right, so that's your sales journal and the posting of that to the general ledger and the subsidiary ledger for AR. So have subledgers to deal with. This is money we've received, cash receipts. So the entry here is debit cash, and credit looks like AR, accounts receivable. Here's your credits, AR, common stock, and additional paid-in capital. So those are your credits, and your debit is cash receipts. So I'll go ahead and do that on the scratch paper so you can see it. Again, this isn't anything you need to write down unless you want to have it for your records. Cash receipts, debit cash, that's what cash receipts means. Cash payments would be, of course, credit cash. Our credits and the cash receipts are given, I'm going to abbreviate